Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Thursday, August 7th, a little before 5 o'clock in the evening, and this is our daily video covering our Roundhill weekly paying funds, QDTE, XDTE, and RDTE. These are the three index following covered call strategies for the NASDAQ, S&P, and Russell, and then also YBTC, the Bitcoin covered call strategy ETF. We're going to talk about trades if we have availability for them, and holdings, and see how the funds performed versus the underlying indexes. Before we do, just a reminder, I'm on X at ETF_inspector1. I let you know the daily trades for these 0DTE funds. I also repost distribution announcements and let you know when videos are coming out. Okay, let's get right into it. As far as our indexes are concerned, the NASDAQ was up, but not very much, 0.32. The fund from Roundhill actually beat it slightly by 0.4%. S&P ended up down. All three started in the positive and then dipped. I believe they talked about, I missed it. There was a different reason for the reversal. I was too busy with a concrete pour today. That's why I did let people know that I was running late. SPX ended up down just slightly. XDTE down as well. It actually outperformed, but we're splitting hairs now. We're talking about fractions of a fraction. Russell was down as well, and RDTE just about the same, 1/100th of a beat. YBTC was up 0.9%. That didn't compare to the one underlying, the CBOE Bitcoin ETF. And then let's see how IBIT did, up over 2%. So IBIT and CBTX both up roughly 2%, whereas YBTC was only up 0.9%. We'll see if we can dig in and find out why that was. Let's switch it up a little bit. We'll start there. We'll start at YBTC and work our way backwards. So they don't show us our trades. If you missed the video, I talked to Roundhill representatives, and they're talking about it. We'll see if they're going to make that change, but for now they do not give us access to their trades, but we do get access to their holdings, so we can kind of come up with a little bit of an understanding on why. Okay, as far as CBTX, we've got synthetic at this flex option price of $27.8343. So with today's increase to $27.82, it's just about at the money, getting near break even. Now, these prices are as of the start today. So although the in the money, out of the money percentages update the values and of the holdings, I don't get that information until the next morning. If it was a standard option, we could go look it up real quick, but being that it's a flex option, we're not even going to be able to. I don't know if we want to try to look up this option. We can probably find IBITs. But before things started today, CBTX synthetic was actually going to cost us $2.5 million to close out, and IBITs was getting closer and closer to even. At this point, CBTX is going to be very, very close to even, whereas IBITs will have turned positive after today, because with a 66 synthetic, IBIT went over 66, so that turned us into the positive. So we've got our synthetics here and here. That's why they're colored in purple, so you can see it. And then that is mimicking as if we had 66,600 contracts of CBTX or shares, and 12,500, and then add two more zeros, so 1.2 million of IBIT. I don't know, I might be messing things up. So here's the reason we were unable to keep up with the underlyings. We've got calls sold for Friday on CBTX at 27.5701. with the price going to $27.82 once it crossed the 757 price. Now the price to close out these options is going to increase dollar for dollar as these options increase dollar for dollar. So we basically start breaking even. So as the underlyings keep on moving up, once we hit the 2757.01 for CBTX and the 66 for IBIT, our value in YBTC was halted. Now that is to say, unless they close those trades out and open new ones, then they would be uncovering them and continuing to move. Since we don't have access to trades, we won't know that until we download the holdings tomorrow and find out if we still have the same short calls here or if they've been changed out. So each of them went into the money, 0.9 and 1.24%, and that's going to be our reasoning for why things went the way they did. Either way, we did see an increase. Now that hasn't fully updated, I don't think. 47.73 is where it ended. Excel is just a little slow with updating these funds, especially when it's a fund based off of an index. So before the day started, our NAV was at 47.09. Obviously, we increased in value from there. Yesterday, there was a increase, surplus because money coming in, 100,000 new shares, bringing us up to 5,560,000 outstanding shares, and our net assets to 261 million. The nice thing is that almost all that money is realistically sitting in treasuries and cash and bond type scenarios, because when you got a synthetic that basically breaks even, it's almost like owning all these shares but for free. Obviously when it goes down, it's all of a sudden not for free, but it allows us to sell contracts all while having most of our money sitting stable. All right, they did announce earlier this week their distribution of 50.5 cents, and today was actually your payday on YBTC. I actually bought in yesterday, so I didn't get this payday, but I'll get the next one. All right, now we will back up and talk about our 0DTE trades, starting with the NASDAQ. Okay, this morning, QDTE sold 367 calls at 23,610, collected $11.58 per share, resulting in a almost $425,000 credit. We take a look at where the NDX ended, 23,389. That's well below 23,610, so it doesn't cost anything to close out. Let's take a look if we were ever in danger. How's that the one day? Oh, we're looking at the wrong one. So even at the height of the day, it actually never reached our strike, so we were good all day, no sweat, nothing to close it out. We got to keep the full 420,000. We're still deep in the negative and going to remain that way for the week after yesterday's loss. But today was a win for QDTE. We talked about they announced their distribution yesterday, 23.8734 cents. There's 842 million assets under management, just over 24 million outstanding shares. Started the day with a value of 35.08, increased just a little bit. No changes in our contracts. These are different, right? So our synthetics for YBTC, we buy a call and sell a put to mimic the price. For these 0DTE funds, we just buy deep in the money calls. So as you can see, that's a 2,250 strike when it's at 23,000, not 2,000. So they are deep in the money. And then we're selling calls off of that, basically a poor man's covered call. So again, with the increase today, these will go up in value tomorrow. So the new download will show increase in value. We were not capped based on what we sold, so we got to make the full, everything in here got to increase, and we got to put all that money in. So that's why the fund was able to outperform the underlying. Next is XDTE. They sold calls at 64.05, collecting 243 per share, 156, almost 157,000. SPX started in the positive. Let's see. We never broke that 6,400 mark, so we were never really in danger of having to close this out. It went down from there, so we got to keep the full 156,000. All right. Again, so with the slight decrease, but XDTE is going to follow it, so everything's going to have a slight decrease in value with it. But since we brought money in, that's why we beat the underlying and lost a little less. No change in outstanding shares or holdings over here from yesterday either. They announced yesterday their 25.6623 cent per share distribution. You'll be getting that tomorrow. Today was X day. NAV started the day at 43.69, really only dropped a penny, so no big deal. 405 million in assets under management. And finally, RDTE. So they sold calls at $22.50 this morning, collecting $1.58 per share on 642 contracts. That's a little over $101,000. RDTE, following the Russell. At its peak, it never even crossed our 22.50, and then it dropped from there, which is why we got to keep the full amount, paying nothing to close it out. There's only 140 million in assets under management on the Russell. It is surprising because out of the three, they do pay the highest annual yield, but that's going to be because of more risk. 4.25 million outstanding shares. 33.14 was where the NAV started the day before the small decrease. So tomorrow, these will decrease in value. Obviously, your T-bills and your funds will pretty much stay the same, other than if they put money in or out of them. Cash kind of decides on based on how they work things with the day. We'll find out if anybody bought any new shares, bringing money into the fund. And I think that's just about everything. So, all right, now you got the chance to see everything. Let's see if we can real quick take a look at, say, an YBTC $66 call. Not a huge fan of Yahoo Finance, but I do know I can go get some options prices real quick so we can see how much an August 8th $66 call was going for at the end of the day. The headers don't come down with it. Last price, bid, ask. So last price was $1.02. It's somewhere between $1.02 and $1.06. Compare that to how it started today, 37 cents. So it definitely got a whole lot pricier to close out with the increase in YBIT today. So not sure. Like I said, they don't give us their trades, so we won't know if they close them out and rolled them or not until we download tomorrow. And if I download the holdings and we still have August 8th calls sold, then we didn't make a trade. And if we have something else, then we did. I just don't get to see how much we spent or collected. So, but obviously that went up in value, and since we have a negative, that means we have to buy that many to close it out. So when that increases in price, it's going to increase in how much money we have to spend. All right, I hope you enjoyed the content. Please come back tomorrow. We will see how we close out the week for everything and make estimates for next week's distributions. So thank you for watching. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider. It's free for you. Helps out the channel. Please share it with other people. I'm trying to get these to take off. There's lots of people invested in these funds, and there's only a couple hundred watching the videos. So, and then if you like to trade along with them, generally I'm able to get these out within 15 minutes of the trade. It was just that a concrete truck showed up right around the same time as the trade, and concrete waits for no man. So everybody have a good day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.